Hi, I'm Laura Bartow from Studio One Stampers, and oh my goodness, it's Sale-a-Bration time. It's January 2023, and oh my goodness, we have amazing products for you to get free. Doesn't everyone love free? Well, I want to show you some absolutely adorable projects that I have made with the Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. This is the paper right down here. There are 12 by 12 sheets, and it's completely free with a $50 purchase. But I think if I was going to make a $50 purchase, I would purchase this fantastic greeting set called Happy Labels and the matching punch to punch any kind of label that you want. So what I've put together for you are these two great cards that are just examples of what you could put together with just the Designer Series paper, a stamp set, one color of ink, and some white cardstock. I think you're just gonna love it. Well, let me show you exactly how to cut this paper so that you can make an amazing collection of cards. And I don't know about you, but what I find is that I have cards, but they never quite say the right thing for the moment when I'm running out the door. So what I recommend is that you put together these cards and then use a collection of greetings like this that you can add at the last minute to turn your card into just the right greeting that you need at that moment. Well, let me show you how to make these cards.
Well, here's a close-up of these two cards. They're so simple to put together, but I love the little detail. Look at the little detail on the sides of these. These were punched with this awesome punch. This is called the Happy Label punch. And if you look at the punch, you can see there's two different parts. There's a little more, looks like a ticket, and then there's one here that looks like a scallop, and I've used the two different ones on each card. So here I use the one that looks like a ticket, and here I use the one that looks like a scallop. I think the detail that adds to the card is just fantastic. So let me tell you where these products come from. So the stamp set and the punch are both in our catalog. This is the, let me close it for a second and show it to you. This is our purple catalog, our January to April catalog 2023. And this particular set of products is on page 53, and it's the Happy Labels bundle. And so if you buy them together, both the stamp set and the punch, you get 10% off, and so that's a great deal. So for both a stamp set and a punch, it's just $43. Well, that's getting you very close to your $50 that you need to get this amazing free paper. And let me show you what else you should add to just get up to that $50 mark. So what you'll also need is some white cardstock. So what I like is I like our thicker white cardstock. Here's a piece of it. It's got a really nice base to it. Anyway, it's thick white cardstock. And then the other thing that you'll need is an ink pad. I chose Old Olive because that's a great color that blends with all of the greenery in all of these pieces of Designer Series paper. You could choose another color, but this one's really ideal. So anyway, those are just the two things that you would need to get up to your $50 so that you get this awesome paper free. And here's where it is. This is our Sale-a-Bration brochure, and here it is on page 6. And you can see these other great designs. Many of them have used the Dainty Flowers stamp set, or Dainty Delight bundle, I guess is what you call it, which is another stamp set and dies that coordinate with that. And that's another fantastic choice to really go with this paper as well. But today I'm using something different just to give you more options. So let me show you first of all a little close-up of this paper. The paper has a lot of different patterns, but this is the pattern that I've really featured in my card making. There are 6 oval pieces and 2 vertical pieces, which means that just with this one piece of paper, this is one of 12, and there are 2 just like this in the package, you can get 8 cards out of this particular piece of paper. So let me show you how to cut it to get the maximum usage out of this piece of paper to make the cards that I've had here. So first of all, I've got my trimmer, and this is our Stampin' Up! Trimmer. I love it because it goes all the way out to 17 inches when you bring the bar out. It also has a scoring blade and a cutting blade. The scoring blade is the lighter color, and the cutting blade is the darker color. It's got all the measurements that you need to do all your card making. And if you're really a card maker like me, to have that 5.5-inch mark right on your table with this nice line is the perfect thing to have for your cutting needs. So when we take this piece of paper, we just want to slide it in here up to the I should say, let's see, yes, the 4-inch mark. I think that's right. Yep, right there. So we're going up to the 4-inch mark, and we're going to use our cutting blade, and we're going to cut down. It's not right. We're going to come up to 5 inches. I'm sorry about that. I was thinking 4. It's going to be 4 in the other direction. But right here, we want to go right to this 5-inch mark here. And so there's my 5-inch mark. That's what I want. I was going to almost cut my ovals off, and that would have made me super, super sad. So I'm right at the 5-inch mark here, and I'm going to cut down along here. And then I'm going to switch this around and do exactly the same thing on this side. So I'm just switching this around, and I'm going to put this all the way up to the 5-inch mark. And that is right there, right to that 5-inch mark. I'm making certain that it's even at the top, so then it's going to be nice and square, and I'm going to cut this off as well. So now I have those two pieces. And then I'm going to cut these at 4 inches, 4 inches, and then 8 inches. Now I can do them at the same time. If you're brave, you can cut 2 layers at a time. And I'll go right to my 4-inch mark here, and I can cut through both of those layers there. And then I can do the same thing here and move that up to 4 inches as well and cut that piece. And so look at this. I already have all of these beautiful, beautiful wreath pieces. I've got 6 of them ready for 6 cards almost in no time at all. All right, so that's going to take care of all the pieces I need to make this card as far as the main piece. So there we are. We're ready to do all of that. Isn't that great? I love this particular piece. Now I'm left with this particular piece here. I want to cut it at 6 inches right in the middle. So I'm going to put that up to my 6-inch mark, which is right there, and I'm going to cut that in half. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut them down to 5 inches. I cut it in the middle because the two tops of my flowers were together. I'm going to stack them up, and I'm going to cut off 1 inch off the bottom and cut this down to 5. And I'm actually going to be using that little piece that I cut off as part of my design element. So I'm going to take one of these, it doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to cut it in half again at 1. So I've got that cut in half right at 1. I'm going to cut that. And so now I have these cute little squares that I can use for my little design element. All right, so there we go. So we have these 2 pieces ready to go. Oh, I've got to get them apart. There we are. So I've got 2 identical pieces. I've also got these 2 little squares I can use, and we'll have that all ready for our cards. Well, now we just need a couple of other pieces and a little bit of glue and dimensionals, and we are ready to go to get our cards going. All right. Let's start with, let's see, which card? I think we'll start with this card first. I think that's a really fun card. I've got a couple of the pieces here already. So I've got this piece that I had ready, and I've got this little square. I got that. And now I have another piece here that I cut out of another piece of the designer paper. And you can see on the back it's got more flowers. This piece is 3.5 by 4. And so I'm going to take this particular piece and just glue it down on my card front, all centered. And of course my card piece, my base card, is 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle, and so just makes a card that's 4.25 by 5.5, and that's a standard card that fits into our medium envelopes. All right, so I have that piece down. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to center that right in the middle. So I'm going to add some glue on the pieces here. I don't need a lot of glue. I think one of the hardest things to do is to remember not to use so much glue. It's a hard thing to kind of plan. So there's our base of our card, and you can see the last thing we need to do is add our little greeting, and we'll use that little square to go behind there. So I'm going to grab this piece of 1/2-inch cardstock and my old olive ink pad, and I'm going to stamp the words "Life is better with you." So I'm just going to ink this up and kind of try to get that centered on there. Oh, I think that looks good. And hold 2 hands down and come up and look at that. Just a great little stamping there. So now it's time to do some ends. I'm going to choose this smaller scallop. I don't know if you can see the difference, but this smaller scallop to cut this particular piece out. So I'm going to open up the punch. So you open it up from back here, and that's where you squeeze, and this is the side where you put your piece in. So I'm just going to slide my piece in, and I like to peek on the back. So I'm going to just flip it over and peek on the back. Can you see it in there? Just that little piece that's right there. I'm just going to go ahead and punch that little piece off. And look, I've got that already punched to go. Now, I have to guess at about how big I want the next piece to go. So I'm going to give myself just a little extra there, and I'm going to go in and punch again in that on that same small scallop that I did before. So I'm just going to do that again, and we'll see how I did. How did I do? Oh, that looks just right. That's going to be just right for what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my piece here. I'm going to bring my finished project here so you can see what I'm doing. And I've got my cute little square here, and I'm going to just kind of position this behind my greeting. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue behind here and position this little square. Now that's the back, that's the piece that we cut off the bottom, so that's giving me something interesting to just kind of accent my little greeting there. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and these are fantastic. These are mini dimensionals, and I'm going to put about 3 of them along here. So I'm going to put 1 there, 1 in the center, and 1 at the end, and I'll just pull the little backs off of these. They come off really nicely, and then I'll position this whole thing right across the middle of my card. And look at that. How simple was that to put together to make this cute little card? And so here we are with "Life is better with you." And isn't that true? It's always better to be together. Well, let me show you how simple it is to create the other card I have here. It's just going to be so simple to put together. So here's the card, and we're going to use one of these pieces that we have as far as our ovals. And remember, you've already got 6 of them from cutting your paper up, so you can pick any one you like. And I've got some pieces that are already cut right here to add to this particular card. So what I have is I have our piece here that was cut at 4 inches by 5 inches, and then I've got these 2 little pieces, and these pieces are cut at 3 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then this other piece that I'm going to use, this one, is cut at 1 1/2 by 2, and these also come from other sheets of our designer series paper. So let me go ahead and put these 2 little strips on, and you can see there's a beautiful floral on the back. I'm going to center this one at the top, all the way at the top. So all the way right up there. And then I'm going to center this one all the way at the bottom. I could have used a larger piece here, but it's all going to be hidden, and so I thought this was a great way to really use my paper wisely. All right, so I've got those 2 pieces going on. Now I'm going to glue on this beautiful wreath, and I'll just put some dots on the back. Look at how pretty the back is. It's a watercolor painting. All right, so I'll put that on. So I'm just going to make this so it's even at the top and even at the bottom. So I just have that little strip showing up there. Now I want to just glue on this little piece that's 1 1/2 by 2 right in the center. And that's just going to sit here right in the center of this wreath. I think that looks about right. So that looks good right in the center there. And now I'm going to get my greeting done. So I've started out, I have a 1-inch piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to put on the greeting that says, I just want to hug you. And I love that greeting, so I'm going to take that down and just stamp it kind of at the end here. Oh, and that looks good, so I've got that all stamped. And I'm going to grab my punch again. Now this time I want to use the ticket side to do my punch. So I'm just going to stick this in here, push it all the way in. And again, I love to peek on the back. So I'm just going to peek on the back. Oh, that looks really good. I can see it right in here. And this time I'm going to save that little piece. I'm going to show you what a great thing I can do with that little piece. So now it's the time to figure out where to cut over here. If I take that little piece and stick it right there, I can say, oh, I think that looks pretty even. I've got the same distance here as I have there. So I can just hold it on there and use my scissors to get a nice straight cut across there. And then I know that when I put this in the punch, I'll have the same side over there. So let me go ahead and put this one into the punch as well. And again, I do like to peek on the back just to make sure I haven't twisted it, and it looks good. So I'll punch that. And there I've got my ticket. And you see how that worked well? So I could position that. So now I want to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of that and just put it onto my card. And you can see how fast and easy it is to make these gorgeous, gorgeous cards. Well, look at that. That's all I need to do. And look at this collection. Look at this collection of cards that you can make with this gorgeous designer series paper with just a little bit of cutting, one color of ink, and some white cardstock. Well, I hope that you enjoy Sale-a-Bration as much as I do and enjoy getting all these great free products and enjoy this project. Until next time, have fun stamping.